All right, we are live streaming.
Okay, thank you. Then we'll go ahead and kick off the September 17th, 2025 Airport Advisory Commission meeting. Please call the roll.
Chair Mike Morrow,
Present?
Vice Chair Christopher Burkholder,
Present.
Lieutenant Colonel Nathan Edgecombe,
Present.
Richard Field,
Present.
and Benjamin Wigton.
Present.
And absent this evening, we have Kat Pence.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Everyone had a chance, hopefully, to review the materials. Looking for an approval of the agenda.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. How about the minutes from last meeting, our July 16th meeting? Looking for approval for that.
I make a motion to approve minutes. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Great. So we're going to move to public comment. We do have a submission from John Poole. Appreciate the work that went into that. It seems very comprehensive. I don't know if everybody's had a chance to go through it in detail, but I've asked for it to go ahead and be entered, the materials that Mr. Poole submitted to be entered into our minutes as part of the public comment submission. And so I think initially to open up, I would ask Mr. Poole if there's anything additional you would like to add or summarize or anything like that.
Good evening, and thank you for hearing me. And I just hope everyone saw the video. That was a reconstruction. And I'll just give a little background. I was going to prepare or I have prepared a complaint to the Inspector General for the FAA. And I have just decided maybe that's not the best thing to approach. So I'm coming up through this commission who has pilots, and I'm hoping you can appreciate the gravity of what happened. And so I thought I would try making this public by coming to the commission and asking you to do as I have requested. And if anyone has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them now. Hearing no questions, I'll unmute. I'll go back to mute.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think there's quite a bit of information in there. So again, I appreciate the work that went into it. Just to sort of set the foundation for the Airport Advisory Commission in our purview. We are an advisory commission to the City Council. We provide them insights into various matters that may delve into the realm of aviation or the airport from a standpoint that may exceed some of the knowledge and skills that are on the City Council. We don't basically set any policy here or things like that. That is all through the policies and procedures come from City Council. I appreciate you bringing this here and giving us exposure to it and letting us review it as well. I don't know that we really have anything that we can act on. I think you're on the right path. This, from an airspace standpoint, that is a federal aspect, and continuing through that channel is probably, and I'll pause for Aaron to chime in as well with anything from his perspective, but yeah, from AAC, there's not a lot of action and opportunity that we have. That really is, like I said, that's a City Council, and it's more with our airport operations, and airspace is kind of a different topic. So
yeah, certainly it is concerning. The airport's involvement is really limited. We control everything on the ground, right? So we make sure that the taxiways are improved appropriately or maintained appropriately, and the runways are maintained appropriately. Anything in the air is really, like Mike said, federal. one of the roles that the airport can play, however, is being a liaison with the community. So if we're seeing trends that are impacting our community members, so flight patterns or noise, specifically at different hours in the nighttime, we can work with aircraft operators to voluntarily change those procedures. Voluntarily is a really critical word there, because the FAA does not allow us to put in rules or regulations that would prohibit operations. So aircraft operations are fairly protected from the airports for making rules. However, one of the important things that we really look at is data and trends. So we're evaluating if there's something that is either what we would consider unsafe or a nuisance, and it happens often, then that would be a data point that we could bring to our federal partners or to our aircraft operating partners and see if we could work through. So the information that you submitted, from what I can gather, it looks like this was a one-time event, but it is something that we have logged in our database for future events to see if it's something that occurs more, if it's an area that needs to be looked at closer. But really our involvement is pretty limited to just a liaison with our partners. So Rob is our tower manager. He might be able to provide a little bit more insight from the federal side, but from the airport side, we're here to provide a safe operating environment for the aircraft.
Yeah, looking back, Rob Broyle, air traffic manager at Salem. It's a year and a half ago almost. It's hard to pull data on this one. I think that by looking at the material, it was sent over by Mr. Poole. The aircraft was on an RNAV, so he was being handled by Seattle Center, and he was approved on that approach. And then he was flew that approach. He was cleared into the airspace. He did miss a reporting point by the audio, but the controller was able to safely adjust traffic and make that approach work. Now the altitudes that was in question, so low, I believe it was 175 feet ground level. That's pretty low. I don't know that ever happens unless you're a helicopter, crop duster, but I know that if we would have seen something like that was unsafe, we have tools in place, and we would report those into a MOR report that would go to a QC, then be forwarded up to FSDO if it was necessary. So, and in this case, our audio is only lasts 45 days in our database unless it's archived. Salem Tower specifically has no radar. That doesn't mean that Seattle couldn't pull that under Falcon. But once again, I'm sure there's a timeline on that as well. But going back to this incident, I really can't go back and track it down. Just looking at about 60,000 operations since this month. This is the first of a kind I've heard, and I haven't heard anything like it before then. So once again, I don't think it's systematic. I wish that possibly we could have got ahead on this back in April or June of 2024, I believe. But I had no reports of the other community saying low flying aircraft. The tower, we didn't report anything, see anything that wasn't totally out of normal. The report something of necessary of unsafe flying. It doesn't go without saying that we do a lot of training here and we're adjusting all the time. And that's kind of the heads on the swivel piece. But I don't believe, I've been here about 20 years and I've never heard of a Lear jet flying that low in the class Delta anywhere besides landing and taking off. So.
Any other comments or questions from the commissioners? Okay. Again, I want to extend my appreciation for the submission and bring it to our attention. This is certainly the first time I've heard of this. And certainly a detailed body of work, Mr. Poole. And also, given that it sounds like you've got some equipment and methodologies, certainly I think if something like this were to happen again, and it seems like it might become something that would be systemic, definitely, I guess what would be the best course of action from the airport's perspective for a future incident?
Yeah, so noise complaints are the easiest way for us to take in data or take in information and review it. That would probably be the best place to start, would be a noise complaint. And then if there are additional data points that you'd like us to consider, you can include that in the noise complaint. And then we can obviously get in contact with you and really dive a little bit deeper into what happened.
I might make one point of advice to Mr. Poole that should this be observed, the proper course of action would be to relatively quickly, as Rob in the tower has pointed out, there's a limited amount of time where the data is available, that the Portland FSDO located in Hillsborough has an operations side, and they are the regional FAA authority for air operations, and that would be the logical place to start.
I agree with that.
Very good. Thank you. Is there any other public comment that was submitted or anyone on the line?
May I be heard? I tried to raise my hand, but I can't find it on the interface.
Please, yes, go ahead.
Yes, I don't know if it was clear in what I presented to you. I did complain within 3 hours, both to the city, and then the next day I complained to the city council, and I provided all my ADSB data, and then I filed a complaint with the FAA. So I was very timely, and the FAA is the one that dropped the ball. They didn't get recordings. They didn't get a flight plan. I made FOIA requests for that information. I did in a timely fashion. I should also add that Pascal had indicated he spoke to the air traffic controller. I don't know if it was Mr. Broyhill or the actual one on duty or whatever, but the controller said nothing was amiss. This is a direct quote. So I did everything that you have just suggested in a timely fashion. It's all documented. So I guess you don't know that. Maybe I didn't post it on my website. So I wanted to bring that to your attention as well. I sense you're not going to hear the matter, put it on the agenda, but I just want to go on record that the information is there. And I did do all the things you have mentioned. Any questions?
Okay. No, it sounds like maybe the Hillsborough aspect was one that I was also not aware of. So maybe there's another chance there. But
he mentioned it, and I see in his report that he did
Okay.
file with them.
Okay.
And I guess, Mr. Poole, the point that we're trying to make is that's the enforcement agency. We're not. Thank you for this information. I think it's helpful for us to hear it. But as far as enforcement and anything of that nature, that would have to go through the FAA and the FSDO in Hillsborough. So that lies solely with them.
So you won't seek clarification from the FAA.
It's not really
That's not our purview.
part of what we're chartered with being able to do.
And just for clarity, the FSDO is Flight Standards District Office, and that relates directly to pilot certification. So anything that has to do with piloting the aircraft is through that office.
Okay. Any other public comment that was received?
The only other public comments are the 3 submissions that came in via email that were sent to the commission earlier today. Those will also be included in the packet that is posted online.
Okay, thank you. With that, let's go to reports. Tower.
Okay, can you see my shared screen there?
Yes.
Thank you. So July 2025, we'll go through July and August.
Hey, Rob, real quick, can you zoom in? We can see it, but it's really tiny.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how to do that. I apologize.
All right, maybe we can. We'll see if we can do anything on our end.
Okay.
I recommend holding control and scrolling up or down to make it zoom. If you could do that. Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. July, we had 5,164 operations. That's 264 down from last year in July. Moving on to August, we had 464,664 minus of 746. These numbers are a little bit down. This time last year, we're about 2,291 operations, same through the same August of the month. We do have, with Aurora closed down, we're getting a lot more traffic, so I imagine we'll make up that traffic count just in this month alone. That said, MORs, we had no alerts, no aircraft experienced any difficulties. We had a few pilot deviations in the last few months. We had an aircraft. That first report was on a half-mile right base to final for runway 31. We had an aircraft that actually cleared to 34 at the time. And we had to send him around and kind of work out the situation. And we put him back on 34 and we got the aircraft on the ground. And once we spoke to him on the phone, it sounds like he was on the Hillsboro frequency. So then in August, we had a aircraft land runway 31. He was instructed to continue through the intersection to Alpha 2. He was instructed not to turn down 34, which he was starting to hesitate to do. He did so. We had an RV-10 was on final for 34, so we set him around. We were able to get him sent around and without overflying the aircraft. The aircraft did depart by Juliet, and the RV-10 did offset to the other side. And then we had a Skywagon show up from the southeast, cross over both center lines in the Delta, never on frequency, about 200 to 500 feet AGL. We were not able to actually make contact with him. So we did go ahead and report it. We kind of have an idea who it was, but without tail numbers or stuff, we couldn't do much about that. So we did do the mandatory reports on those. Some new equipment we've got installed. We got a new voice recorder upgrade in August. Just this week alone, we got the new generation runway incursion device installed. And then we've been pretty busy with seal cracking down to one runway, a lot of runway closures. So it's been pretty busy. I think we did about 300 operations yesterday alone on the one runway. So with the one runway down, then also the extra aircraft from Aurora, we've been actually fairly busy. And that's my report. Any questions?
Good, thank you. I think I'm realizing we do have a little bit of a typo in the agenda. The manager's report will not be provided by John Pascal.
Once is there.
Really? Oh, this must be the online old version. September 17th, yeah. Must have been an update or something.
Where will I get a copy of that report?
Oh, this was
Look at the agenda.
provided to the commission members by June.
Gotcha.
Okay, anyway, proceed, please.
All right. Yeah, so we touched on a little bit, the noise complaint form is undergoing some revision to make it easier to access by our public, by our community members. And the intent here really is, like I said earlier, to get as much data as we can, to make it available so that we can get as much data as we can. Really that shows us trends, that shows us things that we need to be paying attention to before they become a really big problem. That it's pretty standard throughout the airport industry, I guess, for noise complaints to be handled, you know, a lot of airports have a lot of noise complaints and they can be handled by an entire office, right? We don't have that volume, but we do want to make sure that we're giving our community members a good avenue to report them when they hear issues. So that'll be updated. Noise complaint report is included on the back here. We're in the process of doing our annual badge audit. That badge audit requires that we have 95% of our badges accounted for. Last year it wasn't a problem. I think we had well over 99%, 99.9%. We did have a couple of badges that were lost, but nothing to be concerned about. Ongoing items, as Rob mentioned, we have a lot of runway work going on. So pavement maintenance program, currently the Oregon Department of Aviation has a contractor that's performing crack sealing on the runway. Let's see, 1634 is the primary area that they're working, and then areas of Alpha as well. Alpha and some of Charlie, but not a lot. Those are listed here on the bottom of the report. That's about $150,000 worth of work that Oregon Department of Aviation is paying for completely. So it's a fantastic program. Later this month, we'll have the airport emergency tabletop, where we bring in emergency responders and agencies to work through emergency scenarios at the airport. And then airfield markings and signs. We're in the process of also painting runway 1331. That was paused while the pavement work was going on, so we wouldn't have two closed runways at the same time. But that should pick up depending on the weather a little bit later this month. Let's see, really high level or high points. Hangar inspections are starting back up for this year. We're getting into the groove of annual hangar inspections. So far, we've already conducted 5, and they just started last week. And then just a note on our service development or our service recruitment, just ongoing. We're looking for funding sources for the minimum revenue guarantee. And then master plan, that's really the last thing here. It was determined, or the FAA did determine, that runway 1634 qualifies as a legacy crosswind runway. So we got the official notice on that on August 4th. So it will be included in the airport master plan, which is still ongoing. They're working on the airport layout plan now, and then public meetings will be held later this fall. So we got 4 airport. Oh, and also just a note, the public meeting law training is required annually. And Jody sent out links for that, so everyone on the commission needs to go through that online training.
Question.
Yes.
How about with the master plan? Where are you at on the new control tower on the other side, and when's the date on that?
So it has to be done by 2030. Rob might have a, yeah, Rob's still on. I believe they're doing archaeological survey, but other than that, I don't have any other information. Rob, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, no, it's on standstill. Last I heard that the next thing would be an archaeological study, and approximately there has to be 3 representatives from the local tribes around. And until that happened on the federal property, we knew we weren't moving forward. But as far as I know right now, there has been no movement on a date or breaking ground, or if the funding's even going to be there. So and since we've done the survey, that's kind of where it's been. It's been that way for about 8 months now.
Okay.
But the site is selected. That's kind of the biggest part that we had to plan. It was selecting the site. And that's at the north end of the area just south of you guys.
Yeah, right where we do all our hover work. So
Yeah,
we're not happy
between
about it.
Garmin
Yeah.
and us. Okay.
Yep. On the north side of that lot. Exactly where you guys do that.
Yes, exactly. And our test flights and a lot of stuff. So
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, I don't have a chair report, nothing to report this time around. And unfortunately, I do have to duck out, so I'm gonna. I think there's just one more item, is that right?
Action items and items for commission discussions.
Okay, do we have any action items? Do we have any items for commission discussion?
Airport rules and regulations 2025 update.
Yes.
Anything like that?
We will provide a copy of that. We lost track of that one.
Okay.
The draft rules and regs, have been issued, or we issued them, earlier this year with some comment that came back and then, kind of lost steam. So we're going to pick that back up and get it back to the commission,
Okay,
with the final edits. And then, once the commission has a chance to review it, then they'll be put out for, I believe there's a public comment period in those events. And then put into circulation. And then you do have a new commission member that was confirmed by city council, Judith.
Yes.
I don't know.
well, okay, we should have. Yeah, can you introduce us?
Who's my-
Please introduce yourself.
Should have been following the roll call.
That's what I was
Yeah.
wondering about, yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was an action item or what, but yes, please introduce yourself. You were confirmed by city council last week, I believe.
Very good. Well,
Thank you, I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to learning a lot from you guys and how I can help support the commission and the community as well, along with the city of Salem. I've been with Home Depot for the past 16 years. Prior to that, I was an aircraft mechanic for McDonnell Douglas. I built the C-17, the MD-80. I was the first flight of the C-17.
Cool.
Right out of the gate, I was part of the test team, getting that plane up into the air, right? Everything from testing the fuselage to testing the wings to you name it. We were part of that team.
I think
So
we just got a noise complaint from one of those last month.
not surprised.
Came over.
Yeah, it was great. I was flying
know,
for my
me
office.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of experience in the aircraft industry, and I've done it for many, many years. Then McDonnell Douglas closed down. I tried to get into Boeing and come out of Southern California, out of Long Beach and get up there, but didn't have any success with that. So my career ended up being in Home Depot. I was an assistant general manager at the supply chain building. And then I became a regional maintenance manager for them. So I oversee miles and miles and miles of conveyor systems. We have AI in the building, like all kinds of things, robots, things like that in our building that I oversee today. So very mechanically inclined. A lot of experience in that. So this opportunity presented itself. It sounded interesting. It gives me something to do outside of just working and taking care of my family. I have 3 kids, 21, 19, and an 18-year-old. So super excited. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Do you represent Ward 2
Yeah.
for this? Okay.
Yes.
so maybe we just do a quick round table of your name and your job or whatever, and what your representation is on the commission.
Okay, Ben Wigton. I'm the aircraft maintenance team lead for Garmin.
Okay.
I'm a resident of Ward 3. I'm an aircraft mechanic, so welcome.
Thank you.
I'm also a private pilot, but representing Garmin's interest here.
Chris Burkholder, currently vice chair. I am first officer for Alaska Airlines based out of Portland. And I'm filling a pilot slot.
Gotcha.
We know you, I guess. I'm Mike Morrow, engineer for HP. Now work for Nike actually in Portland, and I'm just an at-large. But I've previously worked in the aerospace sector. Actually, when they were doing flight testing of the C-17 over Edwards, I was down there.
Okay.
And then I'm also tracking a lot, especially urban air mobility and some of the new emerging things, more just as my interest as opposed to my job, my day job.
My name is Richard Field, but everybody calls me Rick, so that's good. I used to own a business here in Salem that was for like 40 some years. I owned this mechanical business, automatic transmissions, and I became a pilot at 50, and I'm here because I'm a pilot and I'm at the South Hangars and I wanted to help out, and I'm retired now, so I have plenty of time most of the time if my wife doesn't find me.
That's why you hang here.
Yeah. I'm Nathan Edgecombe and I'm the Army Aviation Facility Commander across the way over here.
Awesome.
So mostly helicopters.
Nice.
And he's National Guard liaison.
Yeah, yeah, assigned, it's a permanent position on the board, whoever my job is, so I'm not elected on. I'm just, I'm told to be here.
Not surprised.
Yeah.
Volunteers.
For the military.
Are we able to get Judith on the roll call? Jody, that may be an action item.
Yes, I did not realize that she had already been confirmed by city council. So apologies, Judith. I'm
course.
glad you're here.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sure thing.
Yeah, I appreciate filling the role because we had a fairly sizable commission, and then a bunch of folks rolled off with the tenure. And so we've been building back, and we've had a gap for Ward 2, so I'd like to have stakeholders represented. Anything else?
No, nothing else. So.
Okay, then I will go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Thank you.